Rywotzki gets on here. It's another race to 9 for a place in the next round.
Yeah, just while he waits for the referee to set the balls up over on table 2. It's a close match. Snooker player Gary Wilson is playing Nikita Rudenko. That match is 8-6 to Wilson.
Yeah, and also worth keeping an eye on the struggles of Fedor Gorst, who's now 7-2 down against Aleksandrs Horsons of Latvia. That would be an enormous upset if Horsons could see it out from there. And another result to give you since the last match went off air. Roman Hebler has won 9-7 against Andrei Vansner. And the significance of that is that Hebler will now play Johan Chua, member of the Philippines team. Just won the World Cup.
That's turned out pretty well for Josh. Hitting the 3-ball full, left himself perfect on the blue 2. Of course, it was the dry break that got Josh to the table quickly, and this looks a very inviting table indeed for rack 1.
Never mind winning if you're going to have any chance of making an impact against an opponent like Filler. For someone as obscure, with the greatest of respect as Rywotzki is, you've got to make the most, really, of every opportunity that comes your way. And getting the break in the opening rack obviously presents some window of opportunity, but passed it up. Now, Gary Wilson has closed it out against Nikita Rudenko, that match we were both telling you about. Wilson has won 9-6. Someone who I think has moved beyond the stage now of just coming here and experimenting and seeing how he gets on, given how he's done in some of these events. And there he is, walking off victorious and greeted by his wife Robin. He's someone now who will be feeling at the very least he can be thinking of maybe getting to a quarter-final, semi-final, whatever.
That was a nice shot from Josh, just to find that little gap in between the 8 and that side pocket. Very easy to flick the 8, scratching the side pocket. Made it look very easy, as he always seems to do.
Rywotzki had the chance with the dry break, causing him to pass it up, and Joshua Filler did the rest from there. So Germany's number 1 leads 1-0. Let's have a look then at some other scores on this opening day of the European Open in Fulda. Jason Shaw off to a good start, leading 3-0 against Tobias Hoss, one of the large German contingent in the field. Yuri Pishklov, another German, on the hill at 8-6 against Christian Surdea of Romania. No change in the Fedor Gorst situation. He's still 7-2 down against Aleksandrs Horsons. Miguel Silva of Portugal, you saw going well in the Spanish Open, leading 5-4 against Alexander Uzbek. Tony Drago, former World Masters champion, was leading 6-1 against Michael Thorn of Germany. Thorn has just won rack 8. Jonas Suto Camino going well with a 5-1 lead against Herman Neumann. Mohamed Soufi, World Championship finalist, 7-3 ahead of Robert Braga. 1-0 to Filler.
Yeah, the break-off was very nice. Doesn't have a shot, but you'll fancy kicking this one rail off the left-hand side rail. Trying to pot the 2 in the corner pocket where it sits. Yeah, that's what he's looking at. The pros always fancy this shot. Not only has he got to pot this ball, he's got to get the cue ball back round in between the 9-ball and the pink 4 to find this gap. Here it comes. Is it hard enough? It is. What a nice shot this is, by the way. not only is Joshua Filler an immense talent, his work ethic is amazing as well. He practices every single day. At the weekend, he is absolutely relentless.
Yeah, and things haven't been easy for him off the table recently. I know he and his wife Pia, who's playing here, had to move out of their apartment for about 6 months. There she is, because damage was done to it while they were away at a tournament. So spend enough time living in hotels at tournaments. They've been doing it away from events as well a lot for much of this year, and that certainly can't help. The Fillers are joint hosts of the inaugural staging of the junior event later in the week. And an absolute flying start for Joshua here, former world champion, leading by 2 racks to 0. Still playing that 10th rack on table 14, where Fedor Gorst is 7-2 down against Alexander Horsens. Not a great deal has changed since I last updated you, because that rack was so quick. Mohamed Soufi on the hill at 8-3 against Robert Braga. That could be the next result of big significance to come through. And that win for Gary Wilson sets him up with a tough one in the next round against Si Cha Chen.
Cue ball has found the bottom rail. Luckily for Josh, so has the 2 ball. That's the next ball. Yeah, just flicked the 9 ball. That's why it ended up where it's finished. Playing the hook, so the 3 ball didn't pass the 8. That's why he didn't try and get position. I mean, no disrespect to his opponent, George, but just get the feeling that Josh is treating this one like a bit of a warm-up match. Not much of this 3 ball sticking out, but there is a bit of a gap. That gives you a better idea. Coming across the table, but he's just got to miss the purple 5 here. The 3 ball is off the rail, but he's missed it, so he's going to give ball in hand up. Josh can put the cue ball anywhere he wants, just the 1 shot in Nineball.
Yeah, I know Rywotzki played in some Euro Tour events, hasn't made much of an impact. He plays a bit in some of the German national snooker events as well, where the standard would obviously be pretty high. This is way, way beyond anything he's accustomed to. Finding the going tough so far.
Couldn't really do much else there, Josh, just because he landed so straight on the red 3 ball. Great player to watch though, isn't he, Michael? He just gets on with it, you know, such a natural potter of the ball. Like I said before, he practices like a maniac every single day, him and Pia. They have a place in Germany where they've got a table each in a room. Countless hours go into his game. That's why he's won so much at such a young age.
Always happens when we give him the big build-up, doesn't it? They go and miss one, but that was a little bit of a tester. Yeah, I think he's been practicing quite a bit with Moritz Neuhausen as well. I know they live only about 10 minutes away from each other, so that's obviously got to help. He's a higher quality player, you would have to say, than Pia. And I know a lot of the work they do practicing is solo anyway, but getting the opportunity to play practice matches against someone of Neuhausen's quality. That's got to help too.
Similar shot to what Josh would face with. The cue ball's off the rail, so it makes it a bit easier, but it's going into the same pocket, a similar angle, and a similar problem with the 5, the purple 5. Can he drop it in, or is he going to try and get over to the side rail? This needs to slow down. A little bit unfortunate, but the middle pocket is always there.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it in everything there, the way he was approaching the shot, the way he played it, just full of nerves. He did well to bundle the ball into the pocket anyway, and with that in mind, perhaps deserved a little more fortune than seeing himself scratching the side, and the probability now of being 3-0 down. Well, Rywotzki's had some chances. So far, it's all proceeded pretty much as we expected it to. Joshua Filler leads by 3-0. We've been talking a lot about the increasing number of snooker players who are giving it a go on the 9-ball pool stage. Well, tomorrow brings the debut of the 2015 World Snooker Champion, Stuart Bingham. He will be playing the former World Masters finalist Low Ho Sum in his opening match. Spoke to him earlier. He went for a bit of practice yesterday with Hunter Lombardo, the American player. Hunter, I know, is quite keen on snooker himself, and he's been working on that with Chris Henry, who's also Stuart's coach. So a bit of a session was set up, just getting a bit of guidance about what shots to play at the right time. And we will see Stuart Bingham in action tomorrow. He's a former world champion at snooker. Joshua Filler, former world champ at 9-ball, and he's 3-0 up here.
That was another fine example of the break shot, the way the cue ball comes off that rail back in towards the 9-ball. Bit of distance here. And potting the 2-ball, he can't pot the red 3 after this shot, so it will be a pot and then a safety shot. Unless he can swing the cue ball around and try and break it out. He's having a little go at this, you know. He's having a little go. That was a good effort.
Pulls that off. That's an early contender for shot of the tournament. It's the sort of shot I guess you're going to be more inclined to have a go at when you're 3-0 up and your opponent is clearly finding the going tough. These guys playing for places in the second round. Copigny, the World Masters winner, is already there, although he was pushed hard by Rafael Val before coming through 9-6. He'll be playing Marcos Sanz Martin of Spain in the next round. And that will be our next match on the main table after this one.
Well, if you remember last year, Michael, Rafael Val played Joshua Filler, didn't he, in one of the early rounds? And he was beating Joshua Filler. I think it was 8-4, 8-5. And Josh come back. There was a massive crowd around that table because Rafael and Josh, when they were juniors, used to battle it out. So he pushed Copigny close in that match. What's the latest with Fedor Gorst? He's obviously down in that game.
Yeah, it's 8-2 now to Alexander's Horsens. So the player from Latvia on the hill, the chance of an enormous result. Gorst, a former world champion and still one of the very best players in the world.
Not much to offer it. 3 down. Against arguably, well, he's definitely one of the best pool players at this very moment. There's no two ways about it. And this is not going to work. This is ideal for Josh. He's absolutely plumb on this pink 4-ball.
Talk about him there being one of the very best players in the world, and you look at the other top names of recent years, the likes of Van Boneen and Ocean. He's considerably younger than those guys, so even with everything Filler's already accomplished, I just feel with him that he regards himself as being just at the beginning of his career at the highest level. And this is about as one-sided as it gets these days. Joshua Filler now leading by 4 racks to 0. Michael Thorne of Germany continuing a bit of a revival against very experienced Maltese player Tony Drago, whose lead has now been cut to 6-3. Jonas Suto Camino going well, 7-1 up against Herman Neumann. Fitim Haradinaj, who pulled off that surprise win over FSR earlier in the year, leading 6-2 against Joel Pasqua of Britain. And Mohamed Soufi still looking for one more. It's now 8-4 in his match against Robert Braga. Jason Shaw with a 5-1 lead in his match.
Yeah, Jason Shaw desperate to try and get a deep run in these open events. You know, I think we've only seen him the once come the weekend, Michael. You know, the final 16. I think it was here last year, actually. He got beat off the man on the screen. It just not quite happened for Jason in these big open field 256 events.
Yeah, and he's doing well in the smaller events. He's consistently performing in those. Got to the final of the Premier League, which is maybe just a step below this level in terms of prestige. He won the event in Scotland earlier in the year. But whatever it is in the matchroom, big high profile, big field events over the last 18 months or so, I feel he's been passed by really by other players.
Again, this is a kind split off the break. It's what we call a roadmap in the trade. Just a case of connecting the dots. The only way this can go wrong is if you play a poor positional shot.
All the talk was about Filler coming into the inaugural staging of this event here in Fulda last year. He was on a fantastic run. He won the World Masters, he'd won the UK Open. And of course, he was the leading hope of a home win. To be playing as well as anybody in the field, and was playing really as well as anyone until Mario He stopped him in his tracks in the quarterfinals.
It's okay, maybe a little thinner than he initially wanted. Lost the cue ball again here because he's going to find the rail. Does have an angle, but he's going to have to play this with a little bit of power. Does that a lot, Josh. He never forces the cue ball, trying to get better on the 9-ball. Backs himself to pop these long 9s.
Yeah, when you can pot as well and as consistently as him, that's exactly the right way to approach it. It's his second break and run of the match, and he now leads 5-0. Fedor Gorst has got one back, but it's still a long, long road to victory against Alexander Thorsons. Gorst is trailing 8-3 in that one. Robert Braga is still hanging on against Mohamed Soufi. He's got another one back. It's 8-4 now. Jason Shaw has stretched his lead to 6-1 against Tobias Hoss. 256 players in the field. It's double elimination until we get down to the final 64, which is the stage we'll have reached by Thursday night. And then from there it's straight knockout, 1 round in each session, all the way to Sunday's final. Albin Ocean was the winner last year. Joshua Filler would love to be a champion here in his home country. He's well on his way to making a winning start.
As the balls come laid to rest, it looked like Josh was going to be hooked for a minute, but you can see a piece of this 2-ball. He can pot it. He's going to have to play a cannon though into another ball, either into the 4 or the red 3. Yeah, he goes forward into the red 3. Just not quite full enough contact. Yeah, he's left-handed, right-handed player. He's kind of stretching over. I don't think he's playing the pot. He's going to put the cue ball behind the purple 5, just like so. Not an easy place to be, this, when you're playing one of the best in the opening match. But this is the level you've got to be performing at to be going deep in these pool tournaments. It's as simple as that.
One thing you would say about this from Rywotzki's point of view is it's not like he was expecting it to be much different. Yes, he'll be disappointed maybe with 1 or 2 opportunities he's passed up, but there won't be any feelings of, oh, I just want to get out of here. His ambitions now will be pretty much the same as they were at the start of the match. Just try to get a chance to win even 1 rack somewhere along the way, and if anything more comes of it, so much the better. Really exciting prospect, of course, Carl, is that the winner of this, which obviously looks like being Filler, would be likely to play Tony Drago in the next round. He's 7-3 up against Michael Thorne.
Yeah, if that does happen, we won't be needing a shot clock. And as you said that, Tony Drago finds himself on the hill at 8-3. So it is looking likely. And that's a match that we will all be looking forward to. Whenever you get 2 fast players playing each other, always seems to be a good watch.
Drago makes Josh look slow. He's absolutely unbelievable. I was talking to him yesterday. He's obviously someone I've dealt with for many years on the snooker scene. He was one of the very best snooker players in the world, maybe 20, 25 years ago. And it was great to speak to him and see him in good health. Looking better than I've seen him for some time, actually. He's had serious health problems, but in a much better place now. And the place Joshua Filler looks to be headed for is the next round. This is as dominant as it gets, really. And he's already just 3 away from victory. It's 6-0. Alexander's Horsons still looking for 1 more to pull off a massive result against Fedor Gorst. That one is 8-3. Tom Stavley, British player, on the hill against Germany's Bernd Jungmann. That's 8-6. And Mohamed Soufi has now got the job done, this year's World Championship runner-up. He's beaten Robert Braga of the sizable Romanian contingent. The player from Syria winning 9-6. Fedor Gorst has got another one back now, 8-4 against Alexander's Horsons, so that one's not over yet. Yes, he's still got to win another 5 on the bounce, but quite obviously, if he gets back to something like 8-6, the pressure will really start to mount on his Latvian opponent.
Yeah, Andy's at the table, Michael, with a fairly routine run out, and we have seen this before when these kind of unknown players to the tour get a lead over one of the famous players, and that match is definitely not over. As Joshua finds the side pocket, be disappointed with that one. Yeah, he's still 6 up. He feels like he's going to win the match, but it's never nice when you do something like this. Should be going nowhere near the side pocket.
Rywotzki's had a couple of chances of varying degrees in this match. This is definitely the best opportunity he's had so far. Torsten Homan, hometown favourite, 2-time world champion. He's also in an all-German clash, and he leads Bernd Janke 2-0. Over on the other main table. Rywotzki was looking and walking anxiously, but that's turned out okay. Such a strong country in the pool world, Germany. 4 world 9-ball champions, including Filler, of course. And we're seeing increasingly over the last year or so, there's much more depth in pool in this country than I think perhaps any of us even realised. Quite a few all-German clashes in the first round. This one obviously not going Rywotzki's way at all, and less so after the outcome of that shot. So the chance is passed up. And another one for Gorst. It's 8-5 now.
We could see a piece of this. Nearly fluked the 9. These are tricky shots, these now. I'm sure if you've been following the World 9-Ball Tour, you've seen us talk about we have tightened the pockets up on the 9-ball pool table for years. They were playing about 4.5, then it went down to 4.25. Well, now they are 4 inches, and it'll never go any lower than that because it just changes the whole dynamic of what 9-ball's about. But we, all the pros, people behind the scenes, we feel like 4 inches is the perfect size for the game.
Well, the writing's been on the wall in this match for some time, but even more so now in terms of Rywotzki's attempts to even get a rack on the board, because he had a chance there. He wasn't able to avail of it. So Joshua Filler, in no time at all really, is just a couple of racks away from victory. It's 7-0. Miguel Silva of Portugal is on the hill at 8-4 against Alexander Uzbek. Tom Stavley still looking for one more, 8-6 over Bernd Jungmann. Karol Skaversky, former World Masters winner, long time ago now, but he's been showing some good signs again over the last 12 to 18 months and is leading 4-0 against Lorenz Hollenstein. Nasuto Camino on the hill at 8-1 against Hermann Neumann. The greatest of years for Filler in the matchroom events. In terms of consistency, yes, he's been in a couple of finals, the UK Open, where Ackland Catchy played so well against him, and then part of the Germany team in the World Cup last month. The other matchroom tournaments this year haven't gone well for him. Lost his opener at the World Masters, beaten in the last 64 of the World Championship, and last 32 of the Spanish Open recently.
Yeah, just the last 3 shots here. He's just been chasing the cue ball a little bit. Played the bump out on the purple 5. Can't really play it in this corner, so he's got to play it in the left centre pocket. He's indecisive, isn't he? That's the problem. He doesn't know, because the cue ball, if he pots it in that left centre pocket, it's coming away from the 6, so he's got to start playing exhibition shots here to get back on that green 6 ball. Playing it into the corner, the cue ball looks like it's running towards the side pocket. What's he decided? Oh, that was a beauty. It really was. Played it with a bit of high right and kind of arced the cue ball. Watch the cue ball arc a little bit. Yeah, that was a very nice shot.
Barring just about the most remarkable turnaround in the history of pool, it will be Joshua Filler against Tony Drago in the next round, because Drago has now won 9-3 against Michael Thorne.
Fedor Gorst is at the table again.
Yeah, he's battling back, remember, 8-5 now. He trails against Alexander's Horsens. So a very clean, clinical, swift rack for Joshua Filler. Total control continues for him, and he leads 8-0. He needs just one more. Pius Labutus, who we saw go so well at the Spanish Open, leading 4-1 against Keith Gonesh of the Netherlands. Jonas Suto Camino still looking for one more, 8-2 up on Herman Neumann. Fitim Haradinaj, who had that surprise win over Francisco Sanchez Ruiz earlier in the year. And he's won now, 9-2 over Joel Pasqua. That Copigny against Marcos Sanz Martin of Spain will be the next match on the main table, and it doesn't look like being very far away now, because Joshua Filler is absolutely dominant here. His opponent has only potted a few balls in the whole match.
Well, Fedor Gorst has won another rack, Michael.
So back to 8-6 now, and we were saying earlier, weren't we, if Gorst could just get back to that sort of score, it would really put the heat on his opponent. Big lead when you're a big outsider can be a dangerous thing, because I really feel even against an opponent like that, you should win from there. And when the possibility starts to arise that you might not, it's a whole different sort of pressure.
Was it 8-2?
It was 8-2.
Wow. Yeah, and the beauty of these arenas, 26 tables in play. The fans can just walk round, literally. You can get to like 5-6 feet away from the table, can't you, Michael? And when a pool match is starting to get close, everyone starts to gather round, and that is what is happening over on the Gorst table.
Yeah, and because the playing area in Nineball pool is so small, you can probably keep a perfect watch on about 3 or 4 matches all at once.
Well, he's got himself a highlight reel shot out of this match. Not sure he was playing this, mind, but let's just pretend he was. Something to show the children.
Won't be the end of his European Open adventure, of course. He'll go to the loser side of the draw, where he will play Michael Thorne, who's just lost to Tony Drago.
Good hit, and it's not like Joshua Filler needs that little bit of luck as he laughs. Both players laugh.
The one wasn't a million miles away from going in. I think if it had, Rywotzki might have just picked up his cue and walked off there and then. One time that he had his opponent in a bit of trouble, whether by design or otherwise, and that happens. Oh, but he's had a bit of good fortune himself there. Might not ultimately amount to very much, but at this stage I think just every ball he pots counts for quite a bit in his thinking.
Yeah, he does need to play this with a bit of left spin. If the pink 4 doesn't pass the 9-ball, Josh will flick the ball away. The shot will tell us, yeah, it must do.
Shane Van Boning came here last year as the recently crowned first-time world champion. Ended up getting to the final and losing to Alban Ocean. And he's just starting his campaign now against Rainer Schäfke out on table 13. That's one we'll be keeping an eye on during our next match on the main table. Fedor Gorst has now got it back to 8-7 against Alexander's Horsens. That's a result we'll be bringing you shortly, one way or the other. Even though he's behind, I think he'd probably have to make Gorst favourite to win that one now.
Just needs one more good shot here, Josh. These can always go wrong because of the 8-ball. Needs to get past the 8-ball, which is done.
Well, you were talking earlier, Carl, about the relentless practice sessions that have made Joshua Filler one of the very best players in the world. And this really has probably felt like another one for him. Joerg Rywotzki has never looked comfortable at any stage of the match. Did pot a few balls, had the chances to have maybe made a bit more of an impact, but it's so one-sided here. 3 break and runs along the way. Joshua Filler is off and running. He wins by 9 racks to 0.